Welcome to LFC, it's Sports Time. I'm your host, Bob HIntz. Today I have with me Wade Traynham, former coach over at Phoebus Phantoms. Wade, glad to have you.
Very nice to be here. Very humble. I appreciate the chance to come back to the big city.
Big city, okay. Well, we're going to talk a little about you growing up, because you grew up in Hampton. You played all the sports when you were growing up. But we're talking back in the day before they had a lot of Little League, Pony League, and all that going on. How did you get organized ball?
Well, actually, I went to Willis Elementary School, and Coach Sue Easton would have, on Fridays, we used to walk down to Park Place, which was about a half a mile down from Willis Elementary, because when the facilities there to play, it was nothing but hardtop and what have you, and rough gravel. And to bring the football players from Hampton down with the jerseys on, or the leather sweaters, and to walk down with us, and that was a big influence. And then from there, we went to what we call the midget league or junior league football, and we would always play practice at the school and at the high school, and we'd play on Saturdays up there. They split the field in half, and we'd be playing on one half of the field, and another couple of teams would play on the other half. We played people like Armstrong and Wythe and Fox Hill, Buckrow, Phoebus.
Can you remember some of the coaches or some of your teammates?
Well, Dick Cornell was a coach. Also, Billy Wren was very influential. He was a coach. Donnie White played for us. He held for us. Of course, Jimmy Easton played. We played a pretty good schedule there, and sometimes some of the guys would play in dungarees and shoulder pads,
right,
and didn't even have football pants, but they played anyway. And it was a good time, and that's probably one of the last times I started in the midget league playing. But and then it evolved from there on up to junior high school and whatever.
Right.
But it was because of the recreational program set up by Coach Easton. And see, we all ran the same plays, double wing.
Right.
And we knew exactly when we got to junior high school, we ran them from elementary to junior high school to high school. You knew every play, every situation.
Same system.
Same thing.
Now, growing up, you also played a lot of baseball, and you were talking about Rex McKinley, and he's on your team, and he hit you in the head a couple times.
He knocked me out once in the Little League. I was batting .465, and we were practicing at Phoebus Little League, and we had these little helmets that kind of like little plastic things put over your head, and mine didn't fit right, and he hit me in the head. I got a concussion then, and then later on in the Pony League, he was on my team, and we were practicing up there at Pembroke and Pembroke Mercury Boulevard, a little field up there, and I was waiting to bat. We didn't have but two batting helmets, and somebody else had another one. I was standing in the background. He caught it first and wheeled around through it and knocked me out, and I was in bed for about a week and a half. I don't think I've ever recovered.
Also, but let's go back just a second, but when they opened up Phoebus Little League, tell me about the very first pitch, very first batter.
First pitch, very first batter, home run. Dickie Mingy hit it for a home run. And if people are familiar with Phoebus Ballpark, Rex McKinley would hit it on top of Sam's body shop in left field.
Wow.
And they played him so far back, he must have gotten 18 or 19 home runs. He was unbelievable. And he was so big and strong. And I used to catch him because the other catcher didn't want to catch him. We had 4 sponges. I just put the glove on him, he'd hit it. I put the glove on him, he'd hit it. And the only 2 guys could hit him down was a guy from Fox Hill, George Weichel, little guy from Phoebus named Jackie Krause.
The only ones that could hit him.
And they hit him dead right field, and we had to run him down out there. But he was tremendous. We won the, I think, championship the first year. I think 1 or 2 years, I'm not sure.
All right. Now, then you went to junior high school, but back then you only had one junior high school, and that was Buckrow Junior High.
No, had 2.
Wythe.
Yeah, Buckrow and Wythe, and that was just like Hampton Newport. It was an unbelievable rivalry. You were afraid to go to Wythe Theater, and if you went to the Langley Theater, you better not wear your Buckrow jacket because you were going to be in trouble. And we would play them twice on a Friday or Thursday night at Dawn Stadium. And you would have 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people at a junior high school game, which was unbelievable. And Joe Beck, who was our coach, always would tell us to try to get us pumped up that, of course, Jimmy Easton was playing for Wythe then, and he was the coach's son, and he said that always Coach Easton would give them secret plays like Newport News special and buck rattle and double shuffle pass and things like that, and we didn't have. And so that was a way for us to get pumped up for the game.
So now, while you were coaching, while you were kicking balls, some of the ball players that you had on there, Chris Hamburger was on there?
Well, he played in high school.
Right.
Jimmy Easton was there. Of course, Dave Pereira was a kickoff man. Of course, Willie Hayes, who's the president of Moco Motors, he was a punter, and he was also blocking back. And we had some other real good players. But the way actually we all got started in football in the neighborhood, and of course with the recreation, we had Buddy Rogers, Bud Porter, so many. Bobby Willis playing softball, Leon Alligat, all those fellows that were, Lulu Allen, who was later lawyer, he was very instrumental. They always kind of like filter down, you know, they say, you know, you're going to play, you're going to play.
Yeah. All right, then you graduate and you go to Frederick College.
Right.
And you go over there before Kozlowski and Bouchard gets over there. Thank goodness. But talk a little bit about that experience, because now you're going from playing high school to playing college, and you're going to have more competition. Is going to be better.
Oh yeah, and we first year over there was 1961, and we didn't even know each other. We played Elon, Lenore Ryan. Lenore Ryan was run up to the national whatever it was.
NAIA, probably.
Then, and we played them. But you go, they didn't even know anybody. We're going on the bus to Newberry. We hadn't seen anybody in about, we just knew people for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. But, we played some good football over there, and everybody else was on scholarship except me. And I was on third string, and we'd scrimmage the first string on defense, and then we'd scrimmage, we'd run defense, and the blue team would run defense, and we'd be on the offense running against them. So that was kind of a no-win situation. So I could kick it a little bit better than the rest of them, and I was very fortunate I had the coaches that gave me a chance. Right.
Now, you graduated, or you didn't quite get your degree, but you left there and you went down and started kicking with semi-pro, or it was actually North American Football League.
Savannah Chiefs, but while I was at Frederick College, I was there, and we also played softball. We won the Virginia High School League, the Virginia State College Fast Pitch Championship 2 years in a row, 67, 68. Bud Porter coached 1 year, and we went up there and we beat Richmond, but then we got beat the next game. But the next 2 years we went up there, and I think one time I had to pitch 3 games a day, and one time I had to pitch 4 games a day. And we ended up winning that 2 years in a row. And when we went up there was a guy named Hank Wolf, who was the commissioner. And Bud Porter told us we couldn't say anything about Fox Hill, because he was the one that they had to take to court so they could play in a tournament in the state, because he issued a memorandum that they were too good, and they had to go to court to get the chance to play. The Fox Hill team, which was a big team down there.
Right. So now you go down, you're playing for the North American
Savannah Chiefs. I went down there, a guy called me up and came down there. I was going to get $350 a week, and it was great. And the first 3 games, we won the first 3 and got some checks. And I came home for physical for the Army and cashed my checks at Old Point National Bank, and went back down, and my daddy called me. He said, "How y'all doing?" I said, "We're 3-1. Knoxville beat us." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Financially." I said, "I still got plenty of money." He said, "I hope so, because all those checks that you wrote from that the Chiefs sent up here that you cashed bounced. I had to make them good."
all three of the checks that you got paid for.
And it was so funny. One game, the team that came down to play us didn't have enough players, so they gave 6 of our scrubs to them to run down on the kickoff team, and they got $50 a game in cash, and we didn't even get paid after that game. So they went around, when we went out somewhere, they paid for everything. So it was kind of shysty. And then we were practicing. We had this great big hotel we were staying in, and after 2 weeks, we supposedly weren't playing well. Where they put us out in a camp out there, a little 4-H camp, and we later found out that we got put out of the Manger Hotel because they never paid the bills. And it was kind of funny.
It was the league just trying to get started.
Yeah, well, we were kind of bad, and then they called me up to sort of have to try it with the Falcons. I said, "Okay, I'll be there," and I hung up. We've always played jokes on each other. And the next time they called 11 o'clock, and I said, "Okay." Then the lady called at 12, said, "Last flight's 2 o'clock to go to Black Mountain." So I left with a pair of shorts on and I borrowed a kicking shoe because mine was almost worn out, and went up there, and everything I kicked went right through the middle. And in 3 days, I was a member of the Falcons. But ironically, I'm up there watching the Rams, Roman Gabriel, Tommy McDonald, all of them down there warming up on the sidelines in Fulton County Stadium. I had him sign a contract. And in a couple of books, and it's on the internet, that the Falcons, I put them in a hole at the very first because I missed the kickoff in the very first excibtion game. I was in Savannah. I wasn't even there.
You weren't even there? No wonder you missed the kick.
Yeah, and now in Philadelphia, we were up there on the kickoff. We tried to kick it real hard, and it was wet. It was Franklin Field, and it went off the side. It was perfect onside kick, and we got the ball. But when I got sidelined, Coach Harker wasn't very happy. But that's close I came to missing one on the kickoff.
So you kicked for them for
2 years.
A couple years.
I was with Dallas before that, and then I got traded to Green Bay for a 5th-round draft choice, which was super duper because the guy, Herman Edwards, who's a big coach and commentator now, when he got traded to Kansas City for fifth round draft choice. So I thought it's pretty good. So I was very happy. But then I got up there the day of the ball game, the All-Star game. I warmed up and sat down, and then about 9:15 before half, they called for field goal team into the wind about 37 yards. Jerry Kramer knew he couldn't kick it that far. He was all pro guard, all everything.
Right.
So he said, let the new guy kick it. So I went in and kicked it and tore a leg muscle. And that was it.
Wow. All right, then you come back, you go to teaching, and you start off because it's the first school year at the Sims.
Right.
And I'm over there.
That's right.
I'm head of the department, and
That's
I've got
right.
Wade Traynham, this NFL player. Yeah.
And I got 55 seventh graders in my sixth grade class.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember you had a ton of students there. Then you went from there, you went to Spratley and you hooked up with Howard Jackson.
Right, but while we were there, we were playing the faculty game, and I said I was going to mention
okay.
this. We had 2 seconds left right before the half, at the end of the game, I think right before halftime. And you brought the ball in, and you pointed out when I broke half court, and you threw it, and I got a half court and took 2 steps and knocked one in, and that was probably, I've never seen too many rec teams can score with less than 2 seconds on the clock.
But we could do it.
Yeah, we did.
I got
we
the
did
assist.
It then.
I got the assist, right?
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, so you hook up with Howard Jackson, who coached over at Spratley, went to Phoenix, Pembroke, and then back over to Kickertam. But when you were there, you were his top assistant?
Right. I coached the defense, and he was the type of coach, from Tennessee.
Right.
Played for General Neyland under Tennessee. And you know what that was? That was, just kind of like when we were in high school and college. It was kind of rough because I later ran into my college coach on the phone. And he said that he had our summer condition program in football practice exactly like Alabama. And if you want to see what they did, just look at the Junction Boys. That's exactly what. And he was a tough coach, a very knowledgeable coach. Unbelievable. He could do more with nothing than anybody I've ever seen. He was just. And when he went to Pembroke, we would, coach there. But he was a very fine person. He passed away. A very good friend of mine, and he looked a lot like Frank Howard.
Yes, he does.
They coached at Clemson.
All right, now he goes over to Kickertan, and they tell you we don't have an opening for PE.
Right.
So you don't know what you're going to do.
I'm going home and right down by Phillips Seafood, right there at Armstead. Is that Armstead Avenue? Victoria Boulevard? What is that going out there? Armstead Avenue? What is it? I haven't been raced on. I'm cutting across there, and this little green Volkswagen pulls up beside me and hollered, "Where are you teaching next year?" I said, "I don't know." And it was Dr. Don Musselman. He said, "Well, I'm opening up Phoebus High School. You come with me?" I said, "Yes, sir." And
so you did.
I put in 20-some years there. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
20-some years. But you was a football coach.
Right.
Start at 4 or 5 years.
Right. I started.
Because you started with Phil Smith.
Phil Smith was head coach, and we had Al Lewis and Anthony Woods, and also Mike Horton was there. And what unique was over there, everybody, now they have pregame meals for the players, but back then we had pregame meal for the coaches. We had mini pearl gizzards, hot gizzards, and that's what we had. And we were looking forward to halftime as well as to make some adjustments and make some other adjustments.
All right, now, while you over there, you got your 4 years as the head coach, but then you become the first golf coach at Phoebus and the first girls softball coach in the Peninsula, in the Peninsula District there. Talk about a little bit about that, because that's kind of unique that you're the first one to start those programs.
Well, it started out that we had a guy named Harold Heinbar. He was a shop teacher, and they were having a club team. Billy Ray Evans was very instrumental in starting the softball in high school. They had the Woodland Warriors, and they were tough. They wear us out. And we started there, and then it became a varsity sport, and we started at Phoebus, and we didn't have a field to practice on. And if you go around Phoebus High School, you go this way or that way. It's kind of rough. When we built the field, I had to put a hole in the gate because the bootlegger would come across the field and knock my fence down to go back that way. So I just put him a little gate. He would just roll his shopping cart full of illegal substances over to his place of his establishment, and so that's what that. And we built the field there, and we played there, and everybody made fun of our field. And we had a home run fence that was 138 feet long, which was 12 feet tall. And we had a big home run trophy. If anybody hit it over there, so we pitched everybody outside and ended up popping it up. And we won a lot of games.
Now, but you also did some with Bobby Wells.
Right. I worked with some of his camps. He was instrumental. Brian Cave was very instrumental, and we ran a lot of clinics, free clinics at Phoebus High School. And some of his two daughters were there, and they later became legends in fast pitch at Kickertown. But they had a little guy running around, was always in throwing the ball, catching the ball, and everything. I think he signed about $800,000.
You're talking about J.K.
And he was there. He would get out there and run and hit, and they'd always want to make him get back in the car. But he was out there, playing and getting a lot of work in then.
All right, then you retired after being in the Hampton system. How many years?
28, 29, 30, something like that.
Long time. And then you moved to Middlesex.
Yep, moved to Middlesex and started coaching. I've been there 11 years.
Well, I told somebody that I asked you how far your house was from the river, and you said about a 3-wood. Of course, you don't hit a 3-wood quite as far as that anymore.
It's about a drive and a 5-iron from the Rappahannock River, a little place called Wake, Virginia, population about 200. And got 10 acres up there. When the sun goes down, all you see is animals. But we did put an anti-crime light up there. It helps a little bit. But it's way out in the sticks, and it's about 48 miles from here. I think it's 48 miles from here today coming down. How
did you develop, and what is your coaching philosophy?
It's just we try to get a little bit better each day and be well prepared, and to make sure that you touch on everything that's going to happen in the ball game and don't take anything for granted. Because we were playing at Phoebus one time, and we got ready to throw it. We had to go pick a girl off third base, and I told the girl, I said, all right, waist pitch, you got it, waist pitch. Okay, boom, threw it right in, boom, double. She came off there. She's a police lady now. I said, why'd you throw the waist pitch? I said, you're supposed to throw it up, and you said throw it at the waist, and I threw it at the waist. So you can't
assume that that's what they know
anything. Like the other day, what was it? Dallas Cowboy coach, he iced his own kicker and ended up losing the ball game.
Yeah.
That's professional. That's multi-$1 million lost for somebody making a little mistake. And Jerome Bettis called the wrong coin that time, and and they ended up losing the ball game. So you just try to get a little bit better each day and work hard and treat everybody the same. And you just try to do everything you can. And my philosophy, if you're not working and trying to get better, somebody's working and getting better than you're going to get.
There you go. Appreciate you coming in. I want to thank you for tuning in to LSC and Sports Time. I want to thank my special guest, Traynham. I'm your host, Bob HIntz. Till next time.